Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to another video where I show you the stuff that I did to alter an outfit to be more accurate for a cosplay. So today, if you couldn't tell, this is Dante from Devil May Cry 5. In the rest of the video, you're going to see what I did, these straps here, as well as the skull on the back. However, there are a few things that you're not going to see in this video, so I'll just talk about it right now just to get them over with so I don't have to make other videos for it. The boots are going to be their own video, so stay tuned for that. But the shirt here, this is called a Henley shirt. I'll spell it out for you, but it'll be in the description, along with everything else I talk about is going to be in the description. So, except for this vinyl, because I don't know exactly what kind of vinyl it is, just get whatever you want. Whenever I talk about it, just get whatever you like. And then, so this Henley shirt, this is where it has the 3 buttons, but it's got this type of t-shirt neck. So that's the type. All I did to this was I switched out the buttons. It had white buttons and I needed black buttons. Also, this shirt has long sleeves because his does as well. What you're going to want to do is cut them off about half arm and then roll them up. That's it. That's all you have to do. The next thing is the gloves. These are just driving gloves. So these are going to be, this is the exact style you're going to want. These aren't 100% accurate, but they're good enough. So they're this kind of have this strap here that goes across. Just like that. And they have the fingerless thing going on. They have these holes here where your knuckles are, and then this hole here for your hand, the strap. I added the snap myself, the silver snap. I will link those as well. But if you can find one with a snap, that'd be nice. But I couldn't find any. So I'll link these gloves exactly, and then the snap. Also, just so you know, I did have a video on these, but it takes up way too much time, so I took that out of the video. So it's the way it starts, the way the video is going to start when it goes into that part is going to be as if I had talked about something else and I'm saying, oh, now I'm moving on to this when I move on to these. That's because that was there. So just pretend that it's not like that. There's nothing I can do about it now. It's because of the way I worded things. But just so you know, I did take a video out of it. That's why it sounds like that. So he also has these wraps around his arm, these bandages around his wrists and lower forearms. This is just self-adhesive bandage thing. I have a bunch of this. I use it for Cloud because Cloud has his way up here like this. Dante wears his really low on his wrist, like so, and then you would just tuck it into the bottom. I wrap it around a few times and then tuck it into the bottom to make it stay in place a little better, but you can do whatever you like. And then if you want to dirty those up, dirty those up. Also, the last thing is the gun holsters. He doesn't have holsters, but I needed something because I'm not just going to walk around holding them all day. What I did here was I took 2 layers. I used black and brown. So brown is on the outside after I flipped it out, and then I was inside out and then I flipped it back out. And then I sewed a loop on it so that it can be on my belt. And I'm just going to have them hanging off my belt really far in the back so that they're inside the jacket and you can't see them. I was going to put them in the jacket, but that ended up not working. So, but these, I can easily get them in and out without a problem. So I did that for both of them. And then they just hang off the side like that. So you're gonna have to figure something out yourself, however you want to hold those and carry them around. But anyway, I'll stop talking about all this stuff and we can get on to the actual video. Alright, so I'm working on these straps, and these are going to go under the arms around to the back. They're like at the chest. It's really hard to explain. I can show you a picture. But the ones that I have on the jacket aren't accurate, so I am changing them. These aren't going to be nearly as accurate either, but they're going to be good enough. I wanted to do 1.75 inch or 1 3/4 inch, same idea. But I couldn't find any buckles, period, in that size. They just disappeared from planet Earth apparently. Nobody sells them anymore. Like Amazon, they're not on Amazon anywhere. There isn't a single listing for that size. And then the only size that we could get that was even close was 1.5 inch. There was a single listing, and it's going to take a week to get them. So I'm doing this now so that I can get it over with, and then when those come, I'll add them into the video. But, yeah, so I have to go with 1.5 inch, and they're a very specific type of buckle. So I have these ones. These are for the boot straps, which I'm not going to do in this video because it's just the same thing, but with the smaller strap. These are 1 1/4 inch. These are 1 1/4. But anyway, these are 1 1/4, and they have this rolling thing on there Well, here, let me actually. So they have this rolling thing on there. All of his buckles for the buckles for the two shoulder, whatever under shoulder straps, I guess, whatever underarm straps, and for his boots have these kind of buckles. And not only could I not find these in the size that I need, but there was none, period, at all in that size. So these I got lucky, but the other ones are going to be not only coming in a week, but they're over $7 each, and I need 2 of them. So that's ridiculous, but whatever. Anyway, so what I'm doing here, and I'm going to actually enlarge it a little bit, I think. I can just probably do it on this side and call it good, because there's a lot of space here. So I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. That's better. All right, so I happen to have this nice cutting mat that just so happens to have measurements on it. Not only does it have these 1-inch squares, but it's really hard to see, but there's little dots in here. There's 9 dots in the middle here, which are the 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4 inch marks. So I can just do, like, I can fold it up a little bit on one side and then match it up with one of the lines and then match it up with whatever I need here. So if I'm making it 1.5 inches for the only buckles I could find, I just have to match it to those center dots and I'm good to go. And bam, that's 1.5 inches. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing it all the way down, and I have 2 of them, and I'm going to layer them back, front, whatever, this side to the other one on that side together, so it makes a thick thing, and then I'm going to sew it together. All right, there we go for one of them. However, I have to make, now I should mention, this is really long. I said it was going under the arm from the back to the, yeah. That's obviously way too long for that. This is both of the straps, so I'm going to cut it in half. So that makes it a lot better. A lot less waste of vinyl and time. So I do have to make the ends. It's going to be really hard here. Let me put that down there. Let me move the microphone a little bit. I have to make the ends a triangle. I haven't done that before. I usually just do this and then like fold it over or something, or just call it good. I don't know how to do the triangle, so I'm gonna see what I can do. I think I can just fold it, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I can cut off some of that. So it looks like I can definitely cut off a ton of the inside there and then fold it over. That might work. That should work, actually, yeah. But I really don't want that much fabric. I don't know if my machine will go through that. So let me take off a little bit more and match that up and take... Oh, come on. There we go. Perfect. All right, now I can fold. Now I don't know where the halfway mark is. Oh, well. But I can fold like that. Put this one here. Yeah, I know it's hard for you guys to see what I'm doing with my hands in the way, but whatever. Okay, that's not pretty, but it'll work. I'll finesse with this a little bit more off camera here for a moment, and then come back when I'm sewing it. All right, so I made a little bit of a realization. I didn't need to put the 2 on top of each other. Also, you can probably hear outside, people are setting off fireworks. It's July 3rd right now. I'm sorry, that's just going to happen. Anyway, and that's the neighbors are doing it, and it's really annoying. But anyway, I realized I didn't have to lay the 2 pieces on top of each other and then sew it together and cut it in half. They're already the length. If I just fold it over on itself, that's a strap. That's the entire strap. So I did that. So now I have 2. So I don't even need to cut it. I don't know what I was thinking. I just need to fold it in half and sew them together. So that's what I'm doing. Now I'm sewing it down with the machine. And I just hope that this works. So I am doing it with just a regular straight stitch. I don't need to do anything special here. And I have my needle set as far over to the right as I can. And then I am putting the edge up against the edge of the foot here, and that's going to be my guide, and I'll just keep it at that edge, and as I push it through, it'll just stay at that edge. So you'll see. But I need to get my chair in orientation to hit the foot switch. There we go. Good. This sews through this really nicely. Now I have to be careful. I have to go to this edge here, turn it, and then go, yeah, this is the annoying part. So I gotta go slower. So with this down in there, I can turn it. And do it again. One more. There we go. And now I can continue. I'm going to test it up on the jacket, and actually let me point to the thing over there so you can see me do that. So this is the jacket on the thing. This right here, you can kind of, I'll just do this. You can see it's held on by a little gold ring there, right here. That's what I was talking about. I can take this end and do that. So that's what I was talking about. But anyway, one sec. Oh yeah. That works. So actually, it is big enough because this needs to go like down here. So that is big enough that I can actually just sew this to the back of the thing and not worry about it. So I'm just going to do that. This is going to be difficult for you to see, but I'm not going to talk through this, but I'm going to seam rip all this stuff off. Under here, it's hard to tell. Right there, it is actually sewn into the seam, so I have to cut that off and get it down as much as I can. So I'm going to just be really careful there. I'm not going to seam rip that, but I am going to seam rip up here where it's connected here and right here. I'm just going to seam rip this whole thing off right here because it turns out it's long enough I can just connect it to this, and I'm going to sew it to the back of it, but you may not see that because I can't just take this down. I have to do it on here. So yeah. Alright, so while this piece did come off a lot easier than I thought it would, this seam ripper sucks. I can't find my good one. This one came with my machine like a couple years ago. It is a piece of garbage. Oh well. Either way, I'm going to continue. Okay, that's not coming off. So screw it. Just do that. Like I said, the thing is in here like this. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm just gonna have to cut it out. Stay. Alright. I have to be really careful here. First off, I'm gonna cut it off just normally. Now I gotta cut this out and be really careful. Okay, that's as good as that's gonna get. But, oh yeah, sweet. So the seam on this goes this way. So you can see it right there, but it goes that way. Look, you can't even see it now. See that? Right there? I guess kind of, there you go. So because the seam is like this, where the seam is on top of it, it pushes the thing that way. So you can't even see it really. So when it's down, you definitely can't see it. Works for me. And this will go up. Perfect. That's what I wanted. Alright, so that's good. So it turns out I was actually kind of wrong about the straps on this. So what I had was on the front, strapped like this. This one came from behind with a buckle on here, and it's strapped in like this. So what I had was, I don't have the actual buckles, so I'm just going to use this smaller one that goes on the boots, but I had it like this with this buckled strap on top here, and then the longer strap with the triangle end going through, if I can do this with a smaller one, there we go, through there like that. That's wrong. I don't know why I thought that, but that is wrong. The correct way is with the triangle on this thing. And then, so here, let me just stuff that up under there. Bottom side of this would have this. It doesn't really matter which side now at this point. This would have that going around. It would go on this way, and it would buckle through like that. So that's how this goes, with the thing here pointing that way. So I had it backwards. All I had to do was make another one of these with the triangle thing, and then this one I can just do whatever I want. I can either keep it on this side and fold it over like this, or I can put it on the triangle side here and just fold that over like that. Doesn't really matter. This is longer than I needed. It only needs to go to about here, so there's plenty of space back here for it to fit. So it doesn't matter. It works perfectly fine. I did end up making small ones of these that were just the flat end instead of this triangle end, and then realized I just wasted that much material to do that. And yeah, so this is the correct way to do it. Alright, so the buckles just came in. So as you can see, they are these ones with the little roller thing there. I already did one. The other side to this piece with the little triangle piece on it, is already sewn to the jacket. So what I just did instead was I made this easy and put a snap on the back of it. I am dumb and I snapped this backwards. So it should have went that way, and I messed that up. So now I have to match it on the other one so that the back doesn't look weird. This isn't how his things are attached. There's no visible snaps on his. I actually ended up finding out he does have the little rings on the back that the straps wrap around and, you know, are sewn onto, but it's whatever. For this, you can see I already put the holes in it. So that will go like this. It goes on the third one like that. So, and this is how it hangs. It goes like that under the shoulder, under the arm. So it's going to go like that. This one is for the one I'm working on right now. This one's all done. So I'm going to show you what I did. I already put the snap on the other one, and I already put the holes in this one because I don't need to show you that again. I've already showed you how to do that before on the gloves. So you just do the exact same thing with these snaps. It's the exact same process. But you just have to make sure that these are lined up like this, so that the ends that sit in the little dish thing are on the same side, so this can get flipped over like that and snapped together to go around something. So just remember that. But anyway, I'm gonna put this on here, but I do want to show you how I'm gonna make it do this. I have a thing for this. I have a leather punch that's a hammer leather punch that's 4 belts to put a belt buckle on. I lost it, so I have to do it the hard way. So I have marked this with silver here, and it's not centered at all. And it doesn't matter which side I do this on, because I can just flip it over whichever way. So it looks like that is actually pretty centered. Never mind. All right then. And then I have this on the 4th size. Instead of when I did the snaps, they're on the 3rd size, because that's the size of the pegs. The holes here and stuff, this is a little bit bigger. So I used the 3rd hole for all of this, or the 3rd hole size for all of this. So what I'm going to do here is do a hole here. However, when you put this in there, it doesn't really fit that well. It doesn't look that great. So I have to widen it out. The one that I have that's an actual hammer down punch is a oval. It's an elongated circle basically. And that makes it so that this fits through it. If you look at any belt that has a buckle like that, you'll see that it has a hole that's elongated. So I need to do that. I really should have just left this one open. My bad. But it looks like all I have to do is elongate it on both sides to match it. It doesn't have to match exactly perfectly. It just has to be good enough. So I'm going to go off to the side here a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here. There we go. That's perfect, just like that. Now, I'm going to use one of these clips to hold this in place while I grab, if I can grab it, my needle with the thread in it. And I'm just using black thread for this. I use it on the other one, so I'm going to make a match. Should have used brown. I do have brown. It's what I use to sew this piece onto the jacket. So I'm not going to show you this entire thing here. I'm going to just tell you what I'm doing really quick and then skip to the next part because you know how to sew, or at least I hope you do. All I'm doing is I'm going through, I start through this section right here so that the knot is inside, and then I go around this way, and this stuff is kind of thick, so it's really hard to push the needle through, and then I'm using pliers to pull it through all the way because it's just easier than hurting myself. And I do that a few times. I'll do this like 6 or 7 times, or sometimes upwards of 10, and I'll just do this over and over and over again. And then I'm going to sew all the way down, and then do it again on the other side, sew it back a little bit so that I can tie this off. And for tying it off, all I do is I tie it in, make itself a knot, and then pull it tight. And then do that like 2 or 3 times, and then cut it off. That's it. So I'm going to do this off camera, and then just know that this gets sewn into the top of the jacket, and I'll show you exactly where in just a moment here, but that's all you have to do, and then you just buckle the thing together. And that's it. Alright, so now we're at the end here. So I'm going to show you how it all attaches. So like I said, snap, and this goes in here like this. Again, it should go the other way, like that, but oh well. Yeah, like I said, I messed that up, so I just made them both match, but it looks fine. It's no big deal. Nobody's gonna care. And in the front, like I told you, I had put the other one on here already, so this one is sewn down to the front here. It's along this front seam here, so it's gonna stay just fine. And then that fell, so let me grab that back. And so this is gonna go up like this, go on the third hole there, and bam, just like that. So there we are, just like that. Perfect. So that is how it's going to be on this side. Obviously it's not done. I have the pieces finished, but I just have to match this up the way to make them both work. So I have to actually like do some measuring and stuff, and I might even fold the coat up in a way where I can put these 2 flaps together. Don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but I might try and do that where I can just, if I put them back to back or top to top, then I can just hold them together where this needs to go, and then put it in place. But I'll figure that out later. But yeah, so for now, this is that. And now we're on to the last thing here, which is the skull that goes on the back of the jacket. So it also has this weird piece, I don't know what you would call this, like a plaque or something, or a, you know, the kind of things you would hang things on, like a sword or a shield on the wall. I have no idea what that's called, but yeah, it has one of those on it, and then that's attached to the back. So I crappily made this thing. It doesn't look that great, but no one's gonna really tell it's in the back of me. It doesn't really matter, but it completes the look. So there's that. It's a little lopsided too, but there's nothing I can do about it. But this is just 2 layers of the same, well, it's 3 layers actually, of the same pleather that I used for the straps. So I just basically traced out a shape I needed and called it good. So it's going to be like that. So it's probably really hard to tell, but it goes on top of this top layer here. So you can tell that that's a separate layer there. So it goes on top of that, and then this gets sewn down. And that's all I'm going to do. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to scratch up this and this with a knife. The pleather is easy, just cut into it. That should work just fine. Now, I got this 3D printed. I think I mentioned it already, but all it is a 3D printed skull. I would have showed you the proper techniques to do everything to make this look this way, but I don't have to, because they did it for me. I ordered, they custom did everything for me. They made it a custom size that I wanted. So I thought I was getting a raw print, Apparently not. What they did was they did all of the filler sanding, all of the all the primer filler, all that kind of stuff. They did all of that and painted it white like a regular skull. So they did all of it for me. All I had to do was put primer on it, silver, and then some clear coat, and I was done. So yeah, it's not. It's also not going to be as bright as like chrome or actual silver, because that paint rubs off on everything, especially leather and pleather, which this jacket's made of. I'm not doing that, so I'm not gonna have that happen. So I put clear coat over it, which fogged it up and made it not as shiny anymore. But that's fine. I'll get over it. I could use a gloss coat, but we don't have any. But I also don't really want to. I like the feel of matte. I just like it better. So, like I said, I'm just going to epoxy everything together. I'm using the top of this paint thing. So we're gonna take what we have of the epoxy, basically whatever's left of it. Get off me. It got on my finger. We don't want it to be on my hand when I touch this stuff. So I'm going to put it on the back of the skull here and just kind of... You know what? I'm going to use a brush for this, I think. We got a whole bunch of really crappy brushes at a Goodwill, so just going to use that. Much better. Spread that onto these parts here, but I don't want to do too much on here, because that'll be very easy to accidentally overdo. And then we're going to do more on here, but I'm not going to make it a whole lot on here, just so it doesn't grab too much. And then we can take it, put it down where I want it, firmly press it in place. There was a little bit of overspill right here. We can just quickly gather that up. This is as centered as it's going to get. So now I'm going to let this dry just like this. I'm going to let it dry for an hour. It should be cured in a half hour, but I'm just going to let it go for an hour because, you know, that'll be better. And then once that's done, I'm just going to sew this to the back of the jacket. I'll pick it up right now because you can. And then, it's not, probably shouldn't, but whatever. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. Alright, I figured it'd be better handheld because I can just hold everything. So this is still moving around a lot, so I gotta be careful. But this basically is gonna go right here, or as centered as I can get it. And then I'm gonna just tack it down on each corner, on each of these little corners here. Just in case, because that way if I ever get anything better than this, I can take this off. So I won't ruin anything by gluing it down or going all the way around it, which would be annoying to get off. And since it won't have any force being pulled on it, it's not a big deal, so that'll hold just fine. So, but yeah, it's going to be basically just like that, as straight as possible. But I'm not going to show you on camera because it's just sewing and it's going to be very awkward. The back of the jacket is sewn onto the jacket, so I can't take it off to do that, so I have to do it up against it, and I'll be in the way of the camera, so it's whatever. But that's going to be everything that I'm doing. Alright, so that's everything I did to alter this Dante cosplay from Devil May Cry 5. Again, everything I talk about except for the vinyl is down in the description because the vinyl is just whatever you want. I don't remember the exact stuff I got, and that's through the receipt away, so I don't know the name of it. But you can use whatever you want. So I just found one that was nice and slick, and this happened to be the only brown they had when I went to go buy some. So that's what I had to use. It doesn't really matter what you use. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. If you like it, go ahead and give it that thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later.